This is my current watch list video for December 2025, the last one of the year. I can't believe I just said that. Where has 2025 gone? Why is it December already? I have a lot to talk about in this video. It'll probably be a longer video because in November, I cleared out my watch list. So a lot of these dramas I'm going to be talking about right now are new to me and me talking about them. They're not necessarily new in general of they're all premiering right now. I will explain that in a bit. But they're ones I have not talked about or maybe briefly mentioned, but I wasn't watching until now. The goal of November was to clear out my current watch list, which I did, which is why there's a lot of new dramas. The goal in December is to complete as many dramas as possible before the end of the year. A lot of the dramas that I started are short Japanese dramas that people watch throughout 2025 just so I can get some more things completed by the end of the year. We'll see what happens if I actually do complete all of them. I don't think I will. I think they'll roll into January a bit, but that's okay. If you have not previously seen my other video of my strategy of what I'm going to be doing in 2026, please go back and watch that. I'm not going to reiterate that again, but it might come up in future watch list episodes. If you have never been on my channel or been to a watch list episode, this is where I talk about everything I'm currently watching and what I started. And then at the very end, I'm also going to talk about some things I plan to add to my current watch list, specifically what I plan to add in January or maybe the end of December, but most likely it's going to be January. Welcome. Hope you stick around. Hope you like this video. I think a lot of people do. Let me know in the comments what you're currently watching, if you're currently watching anything I'm currently watching, or if you've already watched some of the dramas I'm currently watching, and let me know what you think of them. I'd like to know. Anyway, let's get this started. First up, as always, we are talking about Korean dramas. The only Korean drama I'm watching is a daily makjang. This is a Korean drama called A Graceful Liar. It is one of those 100-episode makjang dramas. I've only watched the first 2 episodes, maybe 1 episode. I kind of put this on the back burner in November because it doesn't end until February, and I'm already behind on it. I don't anticipate finishing this by the end of the year anyway, because it's still airing, and I also plan on probably watching it for a lot of 2026. So I decided to put it on the back burner. I love the first episode, though. It was as crazy as I anticipated it was going to be. I can't wait for more twists and turns and see how it unfolds. I'm really hoping people are still liking this. I'm trying not to get a bunch of spoilers. We'll see what happens. That is the only Korean drama I'm watching. I do plan to start maybe 1 or 2 in January. Moving on, still sticking with Korea, I am watching the Korean variety show Please Take Care of My Refrigerator Season 2. This is on Netflix. I will probably be watching this show for a while. It keeps adding episodes. It keeps airing episodes. I'm also severely behind on it because it took a back seat again in November. It is now up to like 60 episodes or something. This is the one where they bring in guests who bring in their refrigerators to the studio, and then the chefs have to cook dishes with the food from the fridges. I still love this setup. It is an somewhat old Korean variety show from like 2016, 2017, and I watched the original and love that they brought the reboot back, and this is airing on Netflix. I'm going to be watching this for a while. I kind of just turn it on when I can't really pay attention to anything, like after a long week at work, or I just need something that doesn't take full brain power. I like food shows in general. This will be on my watch list for a while, a really long time. You've already heard me talk about it many months. So it's not going anywhere, really. It's a foodie thing. That is the only Korean variety show I'm currently watching, and we are now leaving Korea, going into China. I'm watching 2 Chinese dramas now. One, I would say, is on my watch list, but also took a back seat. The other one, I'm actively watching. First one, I've talked about it before, Coroner's Diary. This, again, took a back seat in November because, as I stated previously, I'm watching this for a future podcast episode, and I now don't need to finish it until January. I didn't really see the point of trying to rush and watch it and finish it before the end of the year when I had other things that I absolutely did need to watch before the end of the year. This will be completed in January. That's the goal. I've only watched the first couple episodes again. I'm still liking what I watched so far. I think the lead's chemistry is really good. I love the female second lead. I don't remember the male second lead. It'll come to me, but I love the female second lead. She was great in the first couple episodes. I love the male and the female lead's chemistry. That scene where I think Ao Rupeng was fighting and he fought past the female lead in the same room. That whole shot, their chemistry in that scene was great. I think they were fighting. I don't remember. But anyway, I'm excited to see how their relationship progresses and how the cases also progress with that. I can totally understand why this would be considered an underrated hit of the year. A lot of people did not anticipate this drama was going to do as well as it did, and I can see why a lot of people loved it and why it got the boost that it did. This is also a Chinese drama that is right up my alley because it has to do with coroners and historical mysteries, as I've said countless times. I can't wait to watch more of this. I can't wait to really dive into it in January and binge it in January, essentially. The only other Chinese drama I'm currently watching is the last of the medical examiner Dr. Chin series. I have 2 more movies after this. I'm hoping to watch this Chinese drama and the 2 movies by the end of the year. That is the goal. If I finish that and the 2 movies by the end of December, I will be happy with what I completed. I have started watching Medical Examiner Dr. Chin's Silent Evidence. I think I've watched 5 or 6 episodes so far. This is the last in the drama series that I have access to. There's others in the drama series that I know are out there, but I don't have access to them in terms of they're not on legal streaming sites. I don't go fishing for things that I can't find. There's a couple that I have not watched and have not seen because they're not available for me to watch. As I said, I watched about 5 episodes or so of this. I plan to binge this and complete it before the end of the year. I like it so far. I think there's going to be romance in it because it is another setup of there's a female lead and a male lead in it. That is not how the others were set up. It was more of a bromance, especially the classic one that I love a lot. I'm anticipating romance to happen between the female cop and Dr. Chin, which I think would be an interesting dynamic. They do have an interesting dynamic between the two of them. They do not have a bromance. One thing that's a little let down for me is, as of right now, where I'm at, there's no trio in like the crime stopping trio that you normally would get from other Dr. Chin series, which I like when that happens, even if it's a female male trio. There's no trio currently right now. So I hope they add a third person and make it a trio. That would be a lot of fun and gives props to the classic, of course. There's a lot more comedy in this one than I anticipated or compared to some of the other ones, which I like. It's not bad, especially when it has to do with Dr. Chin, like his character. He has a lot of hilarious one-liners, which I like a lot. I just was not anticipating how much comedy it would have, especially with the leads. There's a lot of comedy between the 2 leads. Also, right now, I don't know how I feel about the female lead, the cop female lead. I don't mind a strong female lead. I do not mind an abrasive female lead character. But I don't know, something's not working for me with this female lead. She is too aggressive, maybe, or maybe too loud. She comes off rude. She's not strong female lead. She's rude, which I don't particularly like. I think she will grow on me, and I think her relationship with Dr. Chin, this version of Dr. Chin, will be good and will grow on me as well. But when she first showed up in the first episode, I was like, ooh, I don't like that. There's something that's not clicking. We'll have to wait and see. I do like the actress who plays her, though. That's Zhao Yutong. I've seen her in other things. I think she's good. I just think it's how the character was written. She just came off really, really aggressive, like too aggressive for me. I think Dr. Chin will rub off on her and she'll be a little less aggressive, a little less loud, and they'll kind of work together better. I love Dr. Chin. I love the actor's portrayal of him. He has a lot more quirky one-liners in this, and which brings out a lot of comedy. He is very quirky. This version of Dr. Chin is very quirky, very much more of a germaphobe than the Mind Reader one I was watching last month. There's a lot more comedy when it comes to this version of Dr. Chin and how the writing in this drama was, which is fine. I don't mind it. I just was not expecting it. The first case of this was fun to watch. I think this will become like a solid entry into the Dr. Chin series. I don't think it will be a favorite of mine, but it will be a solid entry, I think, unless everything falls apart and is horrible by the end. That is all the Chinese dramas I am currently watching. Let's move directly into the Japanese dramas, and there is a lot to talk about. As I said, I started a bunch of Japanese dramas in the last week because I only had 3 things on my current watch list after clearing it out. All of these except for one, I've only watched the first episode. This review will only be on the first episode. My first impressions, basically, on the J-dramas I started. And I'm sure a lot of you have watched a bunch of these because they're mostly all 2025 Japanese dramas. So if you have, please let me know what you think of them and what you think of my first impressions of them in the comments below, because I would love to talk about some of these. Most of these I kind of have missed the window of talking about because I obviously didn't watch them when they were airing. But I wanted to watch them in 2025 because A, they are short, and B, I wanted to make sure I watched some of them before 2026 start, because if I didn't, they would kind of just be on the back burner and I would eventually get to them, along with a lot of my other dramas that are on my plan to watch list from years ago. Let's wait and see how many I can finish by the end of the year. As long as I finish the Dr. Chin drama and the 2 movies, I will try and binge these at the end of the year. We'll see what happens, because there's some other things that are coming out that I definitely will be watching before the end of the year. First one I'm going to talk about is a Netflix Japanese drama that aired in November, is Last Samurai Standing. If you liked Squid Game or Alice in Borderland, you will probably like this. I've watched the first episode of this. It is kind of that same setup. It's not exactly the same setup. If you took like Squid Game and put it in historical Japan, you would get Last Samurai Standing. It takes place right after the samurai era has ended, and the government has forced these samurai to lay down their swords and give up their livelihood and their title and their weapons. They can't fight anymore. They can't earn money the way they used to. So a lot of them are really poor, living in a country that is also being ravaged by disease. A lot of them are desperate. Some shadow entity has sent out all of these invitations throughout Japan saying, hey, if you want to win a boatload of money, come to this location at this time on this date. And that's it. They don't say what you have to do to win the money. They don't divulge anything else about it. So main lead, he's a father of 2, used to be an old samurai, has PTSD. I'm trying not to do a bunch of spoilers. And he's desperate. So he decides to join this secret whatever it's going to be, along with 200, almost 300 people who don't know what they're walking into. And they walk into this temple place on this date, and the people running the show say, hey, you have 30 seconds to get out of here. We're not going to tell you what you have to do before that, but if you decide to stay after the 30 seconds, you are saying, I'm okay with doing whatever I need to do. And some people leave, most people don't. And they find out that they are going to be doing a fight to the death situation. And they have to go from this place, it's a temple, all the way to Tokyo. And there's like 7 different checkpoints. And to get through these checkpoints and ultimately get to Tokyo, they have to get these little placards that people are carrying around. I can't remember the name of the game that they've based this on, but everybody gets one. And the way you have to get it off of that person is you either have to unalive them or steal it off of them. And then when they have that placard off of them for 10 seconds, they are unalived by this organization that's running this. It's basically survival of the fittest to survival of the best fighter type situation. And then you have this shadow entity running this tournament along with a class conversation of rich people watching this tournament to the poor class fighting it out. Same setup as Squid Game, of course, but again, historical Japan. I loved the first episode of this. I loved it. The production is beautiful. The production is high. Cinematography is great. Trigger warning, though, for violence, fighting, gore, death. It goes from 0 to 100 in a very short period of time. The beginning sets everything up and is kind of slow, but once they get to that temple thing, it notches it up hard, really, really fast. And the fighting is intense. I'm excited to see how insane some of these fight scenes are going to become, because that first fight scene was like, this is what we're walking into. Okay, this is intense. Acting is really good so far. I can tell that the drama is going to introduce us to a bunch of characters that we're probably going to fall in love with and then have to say goodbye to eventually on some of them. Kind of the same thing with Squid Game and Alice in Borderland. I'm curious how this is going to go, though, because it's 6 episodes. I don't see how they're going to do a full story in 6 episodes. Especially because the first episode, they just left the starting point and then they have to make it all the way to Tokyo. I don't understand how that's going to go down in 6 episodes. We'll have to wait and see, but I love the first episode of Last Samurai Standing. I'm really curious. I haven't seen a bunch of people watching this, so I'm really curious what other people think of it. The next Japanese drama I clicked play on and watched the first episode of was Learning to Love. This is the one that aired back in July that everybody was talking about. The male lead is a host in this club where mostly women go, pay to have a drink with them, pay to have company. And then the female lead is a teacher. And the whole setup of this drama is she finds out that one of her students is in this club. Her student is a minor. And so she has to go to this club and get her out of the club. And she meets the host and shenanigans happen and she has to chase down this host for a promise letter written by him to never see the student again. And she finds out that he can't read or write very well. And she starts teaching him through writing this promise letter how to read and write. I honestly did not know what to expect from this first episode because a lot of people when this was airing were gushing about it. Loved it. And so I knew I would probably enjoy it, but I also did not get what I was expecting from it. But I also don't know what I was expecting from the first episode. Really. I liked the first episode, but it took me a long time to like the female lead because on one hand, I felt really bad for her and how her life was at that current time. She grew up in a really strict household. She works at a school that is religious and seems really strict within itself. The students in the school do not treat her very well and practically ignore her or kind of bully her. She wanted to be a teacher and I think she had a passion for it, but you can tell she's lost that passion. And previously she was working a corporate job and it apparently was miserable as well. She has not had a good professional life in general. I felt bad on that note. But on the other hand, she is very prickly at the beginning of the episode. And as I said, you can tell she does not like her job, and which means she has no passion for it. She doesn't try to like her job, which I can get why, because she's treated horribly at the school. But on the other hand, it's like, it's your job. But by the end of the episode, when she started teaching this host how to read and write with this letter, you can tell that passion coming back. So I can see where the story is going to go, where she will find the passion of teaching through this tutoring that she probably is going to start doing and also find love, maybe, obviously, with Learning to Love. I will admit, it took me a while to warm up to her. The male lead, on the other hand, I found him intriguing right away. Going into this drama, he's going to be like the hot shot at the club, number one, excellent at his job, loves his job, and I think he does like his job, but that's really not the case. There's this scene in the show where the boss of the club is naming off the highest earners and he's not even in top 5 for the month. And you can tell that he has some trauma and a dark past that he's trying to work through or, I don't know, bury with what he does at his job. I'm sure we're going to learn more about that and I'm sure that's going to be digested by him through this drama and through his relationship with this teacher. There's a lot of unanswered questions with him. How did he end up at this club? How did he become a host? Why can't he read and write? Why did he drop out of school? I'm more intrigued, at least at the end of episode 1, by him versus the female lead. But I'm curious about their relationship and how their relationship's going to grow as well. I love also that this drama already has a message that was said in episode 1, and I'm really curious how that's going to unfold in the episodes to come. There's this #1 host that earned a lot of money, and you find out later that he also is like studying to be a doctor. He's trying to get his PhD, and he has this whole conversation where he's never going to be there full time and he is just there to get money so he can finish school. It brings up the conversation about how these hosts aren't just meat in this environment, even though that is their job. They're actual human beings with ambitions and thoughts and opinions and goals. And I'm sure one of the messages of this is the male lead finding that goal or finding that ambition or finding his passion, whereas the teacher is also rediscovering her passion of teaching in this. I'm really curious how this is going to unfold, and I liked the first episode. I didn't love it, but I liked it, and those are my thoughts about the first episode of Learning to Love. Next up, we're going to talk about the Japanese drama Lover's Revenge, or on Viki, I think it's The Revenge Lover. This is just a Japanese drama that did air in 2025 that I started on a whim. I don't know if anybody watched this or talked about it. It came across my What You Watch Next on Viki, and I became curious about it. Sometimes you just need a good tropey J-drama. And this one definitely is tropey. Tropey for sure. You got a woman who discovers that her long-term boyfriend is cheating on her. And she has to deal with him every day because they work in the same company. They were secretly dating in this company for a long period of time. She finds out he's cheating on her with another woman from the office. She has to be around these people and they break up. And so she's moping around this office. In that same time period, there is a new CEO appointed to her company. He comes in and introduces himself, and somehow he knows the female lead. We don't know in episode 1 how, but you can tell they have a history. He definitely recognizes her. She has no idea who he is, and I don't think she remembers him, but they somehow had a relationship early in their life. He sees her moping around the office, just saying like, "Oh my God, I'm single. I don't know what to do. I've been in this long-term relationship forever." And he proposes a contract relationship because A, she wants to get revenge on her boyfriend for cheating, and he apparently has an arranged marriage from his parents that he doesn't want to do. So he's like, "Hey, join a contract relationship with me so we can benefit from this relationship." Very tropey. I know. You got CEO, you got employee, you got revenge contract relationship. It's very tropey, but sometimes you need that, right? Sometimes you really do. And this one works. Hopefully it sticks the landing. It's not going to be the best ever I don't think I've ever watched in my life, but sometimes they're fun to watch, these tropey Japanese dramas, and the tropey Japanese dramas does it well. We'll see. The setup is cliche. Am I going to continue watching it? Yeah, because I enjoyed the first episode. It's also really short. It's like 20-minute episodes. The male lead is a little more intriguing than the female lead because, as I said, it's clear that he remembers her from somewhere. She does not. There's a little mystery behind that, but overall, it's a very tropey, classic setup. If that's your thing, though, you might want to check this out. It's on Viki. That is The Revenge Lover. 4 more Japanese dramas that I clicked play on. The next one is Miss King. This is a Japanese drama on Netflix. The minute I saw the preview for this, I was like, I need to watch this. I need to watch this. It's a revenge drama. It's a darker drama compared to The Revenge Lover, for example. Think of if you are a fan of The Queen's Gambit or Hikaru no Go. Think of this drama as a mix of those two. This whole drama is around shogi, which I looked it up is apparently like Japanese version of chess. In my mind, watching the first episode, it was like a mix between chess and checkers. I don't know much about shogi, so if anybody knows shogi better than me, please write in the comments. Feel free to comment. But to me, it was a mix between chess and checkers. And the whole setup is the female lead grew up around this game. Her father was a professional shogi player. Her mother basically supported him and cheered him on. And she admired her father. She grew up playing shogi as well until she was like in middle school. And then all of a sudden in late elementary, early middle school, her father left the family. He just up and left because he wanted to win and thought his family was the reason why he wasn't winning or he was on a losing streak. He just disappeared. And he kept playing shogi, so the family kept seeing him on TV and he got more famous over the years, but he never showed up to them again. And now we are in the present when the female lead, who is the daughter that got left behind, she's in her 20s, maybe early 30s, but I think it's 20s. She is a genius shogi player, but all she wants is revenge on her father. And she finds out that her father is going to be in this tournament and decides to go and do something. She is thwarted by this mysterious guy. We don't know why, and we don't know what the outcome of that is. In the first episode, we get a lot of this backstory, which is, it's not like a huge spoiler, but we get a lot of that backstory. And then maybe what they're going to do in the future episodes. The reason why I say this is kind of like Hikaru no Go in the Queen's Gambit is because it's clear that she's going to try and get revenge by getting back into shogi and beating her father. That is clear how the story is going to go. I don't know how they're going to do that in 8 episodes because this is only 8 episodes long. If it's anything like any other tournament style game I've seen from other Chinese dramas, Korean dramas, anime, it takes a long time for that to happen, especially when your father is like the top player in Japan. I don't know how this is going to conclude or if it's going to be like a cliffhanger at the end and be the season 2. I don't know. The first episode, though, was really, really engaging. I was glued to my seat. I could not look away. Main actress in this phenomenal. I need to watch her in other things. Her name on MDL is Nan. You can tell she's very angry. You can tell she's a little crazy, but you can also tell she's a genius at shogi. And how they shot that scene where she showed how good at shogi she was, the angle of the camera, everything was phenomenal. Cinematography is gorgeous in this. I loved her acting. I can't wait for the revenge because at least in the first episode, her father's portrayed to be a real jerk. He's such a jerk, both in the present and the past. You definitely root for her, but as I said, I hope this at least has a satisfying ending because I don't see how the revenge is going to happen in 8 episodes. Female lead really stood out in terms of the acting department in this. That was Miss King. It's on Netflix. Highly recommend. Highly recommend that first episode. And I also have not heard a lot of people talk about Miss King, which is why also I kind of wanted to talk about it in case you were looking for more of a darker revenge Japanese drama. Next up, we're going to talk about the Japanese drama Romantics Anonymous, starring Oguro Shun and Han Hyo-ju. Another mix-up of Korean and Japanese. Han Hyo-ju went to Japan, recorded this, and it is about a chocolate shop. I didn't know if I was going to like this, and I was pleasantly surprised. It's about Han Hyo-ju. She lost her mother at a young age, and her character is basically adopted by this chocolatier, this Japanese chocolatier, and is brought over to Japan and starts working in his chocolate shop. The catch is, though, she has severe social anxiety where she can't look anybody in the eye. She came up with an agreement with this chef where she would learn everything she could from him and then secretly make his chocolate. She would deliver the chocolate to him and then run away. They'd have this delicious chocolate to sell in the shop every day, but she never would have to set foot in this crowded chocolate shop because she could just run away and make her chocolate alone again because she can't look anybody in the eye. And the male lead has a different social anxiety phobia where he's a germaphobe. He can't touch anything. Very sad reason why. I'm not going to reveal that. I'm sure we're going to learn more after first episode, but it's a very sad reason why he has that problem. Eventually, this chef dies, and she now has to figure out what she's going to do. And in the meantime, the male lead, who's the CEO of a conglomerate chocolate company, buys up this chocolate shop and wants to preserve what the company has been doing, but also use it to like make more fancy chocolates for his company. And of course, he needs the chocolatier that is secret. No one knows who this woman is, doesn't even know it's a woman, except for the owner who just died. So he has to figure out who this chocolatier is, make sure that she's okay or he's okay with working with them and sharing the recipes. His whole goal is to get in here, get the recipes, and get out. I think obviously that's going to change by the end of the drama because you're going to have romance, of course. And obviously once that's revealed, it's going to cause a rift in the romance trope. It's a trope that comes in and out. The funny thing, though, is he sends an email saying, hey, we need to meet because if you want to keep your job, we have to meet. Han Hyo-jo goes into the shop and mistakenly says she's looking for a job. And at the very end, when she's leaving, they trip and fall, and she looks him in the eye, and he actually touches her. And they find out that they might be able to overcome their disorders and anxiety with the help of each other. I'm sure that relationship's going to blossom. But the fact that she is probably going to start working in this chocolate shop as a, I don't know, host, waiter, something, and not as a chocolatier, and nobody still knows that she's going to be this this hidden chocolatier for probably most of the drama is hilarious to me. The two leads in this, I thought that I would not like it because I thought the leads would be too awkward and it would just be kind of cringe, you know? Like Tom C and Beautiful Days with You, some of that awkwardness was too awkward for me. First episode, though, was fine. I thought it was awkward, yeah. There was a lot of awkward scenes, but not too awkward. I like them together. I'm excited to see how their relationship is going to form and progress and how they might help each other with both of their anxiety disorders. Of course, we're going to have the trope, as I said, of eventually his secret's going to be found out and eventually her secret's going to be found out. I'm sure there's going to be some feelings hurt and anger and things like that come into play. We have two veteran actors in the leads. I'm curious to see how their chemistry will work out, but great acting job from both of them. The first episode already made me cry, which I was not happy about because I cried with the chef death. I love the cinematography. The food shots of the show are gorgeous, especially the chocolate. I like this better than I anticipated, which I'm excited about. I'm curious as I watch more of this if I will still like it. But first episode was really good. Production value was really nice. That was Romantics Anonymous. Two more Japanese dramas. The first one is the Yakuza Boss's Beloved. The way that this had me in a chokehold when it was airing in July, not because I was watching it, but because of the TikTok edits I was seeing. I'm so happy I finally was able to watch this. Vicky picked it up. I'm so happy. All right, if you have no idea what this Japanese drama, it's going to sound a lot like The Revenge Lover in a way. Same actress too. The female lead is the same actress. Same setup. She's been dating this guy forever, is a devoted girlfriend. He's kind of a jerk boyfriend, in my opinion. Works at the same company. One day she finds out that he's cheating on her, is devastated. She breaks up with him, but because they also live together, she also loses her house. They also work at the same company, so they have to keep running into each other. We have that female lead. Then there's the male lead, and he works at the company. He is a very cold male lead at the company. Stiff guy. Everything needs to be by the book. Everything needs to be perfect. Boss character. He finds out that she doesn't have a home and got broken up with and basically says, hey, you can live with me. I have a room. She moves in with him temporarily, looking for a new apartment, and lives with him while looking for this apartment. The twist of this is because he is such a cold boss at the job. His nickname is Yakuza Boss. The twist is he's actually a Yakuza boss of this small Yakuza gang that I don't know how he became this boss so far, but he's like a secret Yakuza boss. No one knows he's this person, including the police, who is investigating this gang, trying to figure out who he is. By day, he's this straight-laced boss at this office job that kind of has a bleeding heart for this female lead. He's really, really nice to this female lead. And by night, he's this scary Yakuza boss. The boyfriend that she broke up with is a jerk. Again, a jerk. I binged the first 3 episodes right away. Again, it's a tropey J-drama that might not be the best thing ever. If you like that type of setup, you will love this, for sure. It's not a masterpiece. It's definitely lower budget compared to some of the other J-dramas I'm watching. I'm having a lot of fun. You kind of like turn your brain off when you watch this. The main leads of this drama are everything. He wants to get to know her so badly. So badly. The way his facial expressions looking at her, I'm just like, oh my god, I love this guy. Female lead, I will say, is a little meek. Meek, timid, low self-esteem. It's explained because of the relationship she just got out of. Her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, is a jerk. That might annoy some people if they watch this because I can see that being her personality for most of this drama. It's a short drama. It's like 8 episodes again. That might not be everybody's cup of tea, For me, this is a cute, fun binge for the end of the year, though, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this, even though it's probably very tropey and unrealistic, but who cares? Who cares? Last but certainly not least, I'm watching Unnatural. This is a older Japanese drama, 2018. The main reason why I clicked play on this and watched the first episode is because China is actually doing a remake of this next year. I don't know if they started filming it yet. It might not come out next year, but they have picked the cast, at least. I wanted to watch this before that came out, so I can watch that. And also, I've just heard so many good things about this drama. This is one of those dramas where, like, oh, if you watch Japanese dramas, you need to watch this. It's a crime Japanese drama, but in my opinion, it's light crime in a way. This is about a institute in Japan where if you have a death that can't be explained, is sudden, the police might not have correctly concluded it, anything, you can hire this institute to redo the examination and redo the investigation. And it's about a group of coroners working at this institute. I loved the first case of this. And when I say this is light crime, again, this is based on the first episode, right? I think this is going to be a really impactful message with this drama because the first episode definitely had a case. It had a medical mystery case, but that was not the point of the whole message. Yes, they were trying to figure out this mystery. Yes, they were trying to conclude what happened to the person who died, but it was more about the coroners giving a voice to the people who didn't have a voice anymore and making sure they dotted the I's and crossed the T's and came to the best conclusion and the most satisfying conclusion. And the crime itself was not the focal point. It was the coroner's job and what they were trying to do by investigating this. Basically, the messages in this drama is going to be a much higher impact in terms of human messages versus like, oh, we just need to catch the bad guy. I'm sure there's going to be some future cases in that aspect, but at least with the first case, it was not a cut and dry case. It was more of like, oh, society has this thing and has this reaction and we were wrong and now we have to go admit we were wrong. And society also has to admit their reaction was wrong. That type of thing. I don't want to reveal what the first case was because it had a lot of good twists and turns in it. Also, the setup of the team for this was not what I was expecting. I was expecting the male lead, or what I thought was the male lead, would be the top coroner, and then everybody else was going to be his assistants. But in the reality, you have the female lead and the male lead. In my mind, in the hierarchy, the top coroners, and then everybody else is below them and kind of switch out working with them. So you have two coroners on the same level, and then everybody below them kind of supporting them, which I assume the female lead was the assistant to the male lead. That's not the case. I will say, one of the newbie coroners, he's played by Kuboto Masataka, who I like as an actor. I don't know about his character. His character is really fishy. There's something really off with his character. This entire institute is about dealing with people who've already died. There's no living people and living cases in this. And off the bat, he's like, I don't like working with dead people. I rather work with live people. And he was kind of rude to the people they were asking questions about, family members. And really invasive prying questions that you normally wouldn't ask unless you think somebody's guilty or something. And I'm just like, this is not somebody who's a coroner would be asking this. I don't know. There's something off with his character, and I can't really put my finger on it. I'm hoping he gets some character growth, or at least the fishiness goes away and we figure out what the deal is. I don't know. His character kind of rubbed me the wrong way. No spoilers. I know this is an older drama, so if you know, no spoilers, but he can't be a straightforward coroner. There's something fishy. His character also made some misogynistic comments that rubbed me the wrong way as well. So some people might not like his character very much, just FYI. Maybe he'll have some growth in the drama, but he was a support character though. You really watch this for the female lead. The female lead, at least in the first episode, the story is around her and what she will do for her team. He tags along a lot with her, so he's in the picture a lot, but just saying, you might not like his character. I find him very fishy. There's something really going on. Maybe we'll find out in future episodes. Also, one of my favorite J-pop songs is the OST of this show, so I'm excited for that. That is everything I'm watching. I know this is a longer video. Hopefully you have stuck around and watched it. Very quickly, I'm going to go into some of the dramas and shows I plan on starting either by the end of the year or in January. So we have Culinary Class Wars. I am definitely going to be watching this as it airs. The Boyfriend Season 2, the Japanese variety show, is also going to be airing in January. I'm definitely going to watch this as it airs as well. The Vendetta of An is a Chinese drama that's currently airing and should be done by January. I plan to start that in January. Taxi Driver Season 3 is another one that I plan to start in January as well. Some older Chinese dramas I want to start January, February. The Bond with Bai Yu, Blossom. I know I've been talking about that Chinese drama for 2 years at this point. I need to watch it. Under Skin Season 2 and Taxi Driver Season 3. Every other of those seasons I've watched. I want to watch the latest season and keep up with it in case another season comes out. For example, with Weak Hero, I need to watch Season 1 to watch Season 2. In terms of Taxi Driver Season 3 and Under the Skin Season 2, that is the only seasons I need to watch to be caught up. Legend of Zonghai, I have a project I kind of want to do in 2026, and it starts with Legend of Zonghai, and it's a lot of dramas in the project. I need to start it early. I'm hoping to start that in January. And then 2 new dramas that are either rumored for January or have a date in January are Swords into Plowshares. That's rumored for January. Hopefully we'll get it. Bayou's in it. I love Bayou, as you can't tell. I want to watch that when that airs or finishes airing. And then the only Korean drama I'm excited for that definitely has a premiere date is The Judge Returns. I plan to watch that at some point. I don't think I'm going to watch it as it airs, but I'll either start it halfway through or when it ends. There's only one K-drama I'm currently really excited to watch, and that's it in January. We'll see what else I start. But that is everything that I am currently watching, that I plan to start watching. This is a much longer video than I anticipated, so hopefully you've stuck around. Let me know what you're currently watching, what you maybe finished and are excited to talk about, maybe what you're excited to start in the rest of the month, maybe January. Anything, just comment in the comments and have a conversation. I hope you enjoyed this currently watching video.